through on selection for this game?
Yeah, it's an opportunity for a number of players. In terms of, we felt with again with the second row, we haven't picked Alan Wynne. You know, it's something we've had spoken to him about for the start of the campaign. With Jack Morgan coming back in, just feel with the way that Italy played, there's an opportunity for us to put some pressure on them and get over the ball. Probably with the loose head, with the Wynne starting, you know, he's probably a bit more experienced as a starter, and feel that Gareth will come on and make that impact in terms of that sort of second half, in terms of his ability around the field when the game does loosen up a little bit. And with Reece, it's a chance for him. We want to see, you know, where he's at this level. For Rio coming back, look, we've been happy with him. He's training really well. His work rate's been outstanding. He's still raw and pretty green, but he's got still a lot to learn at this level. And it was good debate at fullback with Liam Williams coming back in. We did discuss whether we put Lewis there and at fullback, and that was potential. And probably the thing with Lewis is he had that ankle injury for a number of weeks. He's still getting up to pace in terms of that. And again, we just thought his impact coming off the bench in 30 minutes or whatever, when he does get that opportunity there, he'll come in and obviously have an impact. You know, we started him last week. We realised there was going to be a lot of kicking from England, which there was, but you know, there's going to be a lot of high tempo and intensity in this game on Saturday.
Owen Williams gets a vote of confidence at 10. No conventional fly half cover on the bench. Does that play into what you were talking about earlier in the campaign as regards to Joe Hawkins?
Oh, I think there is conventional fly half cover because he's played there a lot. He's covered that position on a number of occasions for the Ospreys as well. So, and we've been running him there at trainings. He's looked comfortable there. So you know, we're pretty happy with that. It gives us a little bit more cover on the bench with Lewis and George in the midfield as well. So being able to do that. So yeah, it's you know, we're pretty happy with the way that he's been going, and you know, he definitely looks comfortable there at 10 as a cover option for us.
Jack comes at 6. He's obviously played at 8, plays for 7 at the Ospreys. That dynamic, where do you see him long term?
We see him as 7 long term, I think. You know, great competition in that position with the 3 sevens, and in fairness, there's some other good 7s in Wales as well that, you know, aren't in the squad at the moment. So we're pretty blessed in that position with the strength that we have. Like I said, there's going to be some opportunities in competition on the ball with the way that they play, and so we're looking for guys who compete pretty hard on the ball too.
You mentioned this to Lee Jenkins 2 days ago. How difficult has it been, the necessity to make changes and the makeup of the campaign? Is that just the reality of the situation for yourself coming in?
Yeah, it is at the moment, and we've got, like I said, some of those older players where, you know, we're not overplaying them. We're, you know, how do we manage their load during this campaign? That's why we've given them some opportunities, and you know, probably haven't backed them up and for certain games. We're conscious of the following week as well. You know, I thought defensively and positionally, I thought Lee Halfpenny was outstanding against England. I know he's put a ball down, but he had some pretty tight hamstrings last week and was pretty tight. So you know, he wasn't even considered for selection for this game. And Liam gets an opportunity to come back. We've had a good chat to him about, you know, we weren't happy with the first couple of games in terms of the yellow cards, and that's, you know, we've had that conversation. We've been, you know, disappointed with that. So, you know, he's just got to concentrate on, you know, playing rugby and playing to the letter of the law.
Just a final one. Players last year talked about being drawn into a bit of a slugfest against Italy in that final game. Given that they seem to be playing a lot more freedom and width, how do you go about beating them? And is it the best Italy side you face?
Oh, they've definitely probably the most athletic team that we've seen. I think losing Capuzzo fullback's probably a big loss for them. they tend to play, they're trying to play a wide game, and they've had some success in that in the tournament, but they've also been squeezed on a few occasions. We saw England do that and knock them back and put them under pressure. Ireland changed defensively from the first half. They got caught and were a little bit narrow against Italy in the first half of their game. They got much better in the second half and got more width and put Italy under a lot more pressure in the second half. So, we've looked at that, and they'll try and move the ball from their own 22, from kickoffs and stuff, and they'll try and play a lot of rugby. I said, go from coast to coast in terms of wide. So if you get caught and you get narrow, you can get punished, but you can also get rewards from getting your spacings right and getting your line speed right defensively.
Okay, Hamish?
You've often made a lot of changes against Italy. How close is this to your strongest team? Are you still trying to work that out?
Yeah, we're still working through that. We're still, like I said, giving players the chance to impress, and there's a balance between sort of continuity and also giving those, seeing where some players are at this level. We didn't include Chris in this game. We've been happy with his progression. It's sometimes hard when those players are going back to England, missing the fallow weeks and the work that we're doing, and you've got those opportunities with the players that are here. But there's some players that have definitely improved, and but players that still need more time at this level.
Given that you've made changes, you've kept the two young centres the same and a new potential role for Joe. Just how much does that say about them as a partnership?
Oh, I think they're still developing. They've got a lot of work to do as a partnership, and that continuity I think was quite important. We've had lots of changes over a period and lots of different midfield combinations. So just trying to get some continuity there with that, and then the 9-10 sort of familiarity with that relation, 9-10-12 really, with a bit with the Ospreys, that partnership staying the same. They've had time as a partnership in the past in the 20s. Probably looking a little bit more from Josh Adams. Struggled a little bit against England because he was sick, and he was throwing up at half time, and that's why we made that change early, and probably wasn't as sharp as he could have been. Thomas Williams a little bit the same as well. Both of them had sort of weren't feeling 100% for that game, and and for this group, is a big opportunity for them to go out there and impress.
Steph?
Is Dan bigger injured, or is it just a form selection?
He's had a tight back and hasn't taken part in training this week, and so basically he's ruled out of selection.
Just up front, in terms of Darv Jenkins, how impressed have you been with him in terms of his physicality? And I know we gave 1 or 2 penalties away against Scotland, but he seems to give you a bit of an edge when he plays up front. Yeah,
he does. He's still a young player. He's still learning his roles in terms of calling the line-outs defensively and learning that, but he has got a bit of a hard edge about him, and for him the challenge is the pace and intensity of international rugby and coping with that. He's physical, he carries the ball well, and he's definitely got a lot of attributes in terms of improving over time, really.
In terms of some of the younger players you push through, like Darv, Chris, Mason Grady, etc., is this at the moment a case of short-term pain for long-term gain? Are you quite excited by how good you could be maybe a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the thinking at the moment. We know we've got to go through that process. We're trying to keep experience around some of those younger players. We see some talent in that, and one of the things is, I've always said, is that you can't coach experience. You've just got to. Sometimes that happens, and young players are going to make mistakes, and you've got to allow them to do that, and they learn from playing at the highest level and gain that knowledge and learning from international rugby. And so that's why for a number of them we've got to give them time in the middle.
Just finally from me, Warren, in terms of the off-field stuff, has that been successfully parked for now? And are it might be beneficial as well? You'd be away from Wales, away from the Goldfish Bowl, going to Rome, Nice, Paris. Is that going to be beneficial?
Yeah, I think it'll be. we're taking sort of 33 players. It's the number that you'll have for the World Cup squad, so we're kind of having a little bit of a, what it's like in terms of that sort of preparation for later in the year. Probably on reflection, I know a couple of people have commented on it in terms of the stuff that was going on off the field. They definitely had an impact. There was quite a significant split in the group over which way to go, and that I think definitely caused some tension within the group for those couple of weeks. But no, I think now that I think if things do get signed and get sorted, it'll be, and we get sort of Welsh rugby back on the right track, I think it'll be positive for everyone.
Okay, we'll finish up with a few questions from Alex.
Hi Warren, you mentioned the press release about how it's been tough for you to take losing 3 games
Yeah.
for the first time. I mean, just expand on that. What's that been like for you, given that you've had so much success historically?
Yeah, it's a new experience. It's kind of like it's trying to get a handle on where we are, and we've still got a lot of work to do. I said we've got some young players that are pretty exciting that need a bit of time, and for a lot of probably a number of players, this could be their last year in a Welsh jersey as well. So there's going to be that sort of transition going forward. But we're not quite where we want to be in terms of that process. But I can tell the players are working hard, and we're trying to give clear messages about the improvements that we're trying to make. There were certain improvements defensively against England. We got caught a couple of times on a couple of set piece plays, and so we've adjusted that. We've done some good review stuff this week on Italy and where their strengths are, but potentially opportunities for us from a defensive point of view, and things from an attacking perspective as well. It's sort of focused on the opportunities we've created. We've probably been a little bit lateral as a back line, and so we've just been working on our setting earlier and trying to create more width and getting squarer as well. So so there's definitely been work-ons for the group, and as a group of players, they have been working hard to try and correct some of those things.
It's been a while since there was no lead or down in the team, so will Williams take your confidence?
He'll kick goals. Yeah, so he's been doing the work with Jenks and Joe's been doing a lot of work as well for him, and kicking stuff out of hand too. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Just one more word about the split that you talked about in the players. In a work environment, that can be quite difficult to manage sometimes. Have you been able to do that? How did you successfully manage to get everybody back together?
It was time, really. Time was a healing thing. He definitely was quite fractious there, which is understandable because people have got different opinions, and that's I don't have an issue with that. But sometimes that can create tension, and on reflection, that definitely happened. With guys having pretty strong views on one way or the other. So that's. But I see. I think from that in the last couple of weeks, things have definitely settled down, and probably the best reflection of that was the comments that Justin Tippett made to the group in terms of probably our body language. And if you look, there were big moments in the England game that there was no celebration from our players, no sort of slapping backsides or sort of congratulating guys on turnovers or things like that. So, that's kind of been a bit of the message this week, making sure that we do, as a group, celebrate good moments, whether it's on attack or defence, and congratulate players, and that definitely helps to bring the team together. But, when I look back and saw that we weren't doing that against England, that's probably, was a reflection on where we were as a group.
Okay, thank you.